Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern, and this is a list sent to me by Patreon subscriber Justin by way of SaffronOlive of MTG Goldfish. So this list is originally called 35 Rhinos, and the goal is you cast Siege Rhino, and then you clone it a lot. Quasi-Duplicate is a clone that you can jumpstart, cast it again by discarding a land. Cackling Counterpart is a clone that has flashback. Phantasmal Image, also a clone. So the meme here is you make a lot of Siege Rhinos. This was originally a deck in Standard by SaffronOlive in 2015, and then he updated it in 2019 to be a Modern deck as well. These links will be in the video description if you want to check them out. So I've updated it again for 2021 Modern, with Modern Horizons 2 involved. The big pivot here, or at least, I don't know if it's really a pivot, just like another part of the plan, is that SaffronOlive had Eladamri's Call and Bring to Light as the things that get your Rhino into play. I still have the full boat of calls, and I've got a little skinnier on Bring to Light. He had 4, I have 2. But I have included this Reanimator package of Unmarked Grave. Search your library for a non-legendary card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. If you need a Rhino, you can entomb the Rhino. If you already have a Rhino, you can entomb the Quasi-Duplicate, also not a legendary card, and start jumpstarting it. So that's pretty sweet. And then 3 Persist. These are both from Modern Horizons 2. Reanimator is a newly supported archetype in Modern, and I want to try it out. So Persist is return target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter. Siege Rhino is only legendary in our hearts, so this does work. And I included 1 Archon of Cruelty, because when it comes into play, you gain 3 life and your opponent loses 3 life, among other things. But in my heart, this is spiritually a Siege Rhino. And sometimes we might just need some extra juice, and this is a hell of a creature to clone a bunch of times. So I will try to play it in a way that doesn't just devolve into entombing Archon immediately. I will go for Siege Rhino if it's reasonable, but having Archon in the deck, I couldn't resist because the infrastructure was already there. Looking at the rest of this deck, there's some mana creatures to enable the Bring to Lights and get your Rhinos out a little faster, because this deck is super mana hungry. Look at the mana base, it's a disaster. So there's 1 of each basic except Mountain. Red is the splash color. It's basically only here for Bring to Light and for 1 Avalanche Riders in the sideboard. And there's 1 Stomping Ground, Birds of Paradise, and Ignoble Hierarch that can make red. So red is the splash. We have to be Abzan for Siege Rhino, and then we have to be blue for the double blue cost of all these clones. So it's a bit of a stretch, but I think it's going to work. Blood Moon is going to be bad, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. In the sideboard, we have Vindicate, also a new card we're allowed to play for Modern Horizons 2. And outside of the Vindicate, this is mostly a creature toolbox, because we have the Eladamri's Call, we have the Bring to Light, and now we also have the Entomb Reanimate package in Unmarked Grave and Persist. So Selfless Spirit protects you from Wraths, Eidolon of Rhetoric protects you from Storm, Cataclysmic Gearhulk can clean up an ugly board, Endurance does everything, also new from Modern Horizons 2. This can interact with graveyard decks on turn 0. It's also just a thick body against attacking decks. Any sort of Dragon's Rage Channeler or Delve deck, this is going to be pretty good against. Avalanche Riders for that pesky Tron matchup. This is a good card to clone over and over again. Acidic Slime does the same thing, a little higher up the curve. Scavenging Ooze for the graveyard matchups. Collector Oof for artifacts. Night of Autumn does all sorts of stuff. Frilled Mystic for when you need a counterspell. And one of my personal favorite cards that I've played with a few times lately, Fracturing Gust. I love having this as part of a Bring to Light package. You can Bring to Light for Fracturing Gust and blow out any number of Urza Saga tokens, food tokens, etc. The Urza Saga itself is an enchantment, So Fracturing Gust, that's a good way to swing an ugly looking battlefield. So I've included that basically for free in the Bring to Light package. So that's the deck. Let's go kill people 3 points at a time. I'm on the play against a Lurrus deck. I do have a Mana Dork and all my colors set up, but cloning Noble Hierarch against the deck that is likely to have Lava Dart in it or Lightning Bolt in it doesn't seem like the best plan. Though this hand is pretty resilient to Thoughtseize. If they're the Death Shadow type variant, I'm going to keep this for science. I'm going to lead on the basic forest. In case this is some sort of burn deck, I don't want to shock myself if I don't have to. And like I said, my hand has the colors. It is not lacking for land drops or colors that those lands can create. They have a Misty Rainforest, probably not burn. Did we play around Thoughtseize beautifully? Hell yeah, we did. Alright, well, now my hand's empty. Time to top deck stuff, like the Siege Rhinoceros himself. Alright, in for one with Exalted. Not going to need that mana. I'm going to fetch a Black Source off of the Misty Rainforest and then turn the corner and ram Siege Rhino down their throat. That's my plan anyway. Little main phase, no Death Touch Coatl here out of the opponent. I like that. Leading on Watery Grave means they're at least 2 turns away from having Death Touch. So this Rhino is going to get to Trumpet. So I think I want... Alright, so green, black, white. Yeah, if I get Watery Grave, that casts the Rhino and gets me set up for the clones. So I think that is better than Overgrown Tomb here. Oh, you don't say. Alright, let's shock this in. And then get that life right back. Welcome to Rhino Town. It is 2015 again. And you're in trouble, fella, because I have Bring to Light also. Little late than... Better late than never on that one. That does stop the Bring to Light from going ham next turn. But this Rhino is here. It's in play. It's a hard one to kill. They're attacking with their Coatl. They've identified that my Rhino has Trample, and their thing does not have Death Touch. Correctly, I might add. Correctly identified those things. In for 4, then I'll play my bird. Guess I shouldn't have made my land drop yet, because... Oh, that does have Death Touch now. Yeah, the second one counts the first one. Alright, they outsmarted me. I'm just going to have to Bring to Light for a second Rhino. Got me real good. Yeah, I did just walk right into that. They're on 4 mana, so they could have Cryptic Command now. Ooh, Tarmogoyf. Okay. That's what they're up to. Even, like, Remand's pretty bad. Rhino in play versus Rhino not in play out of this deck is a big difference. Alright, let's go to the fair here. White, blue, and black is the color I don't need to pay 5 colors for this, but I'm gonna, because I can. I expect it will get remanded or mana leaked, but if it resolves, oh baby, we're in. What does it even do? Probably just puts Rhino into play. Yeah. It's Rhino time. Alright, they drowned my Rhino in the lock instead. You got me. Got me again. Alright, we're behind the 8 ball on against a control deck. A tempo deck. This Tarmogoyf's gonna win the game pretty quick. And Assassin's Trophy can hit it, but Lurrus can get it back eventually. Phantasmal Image is nice. I could copy Ice Fang Coatl to try to draw a card. I could copy Tarmogoyf to just have a big body into play, but I think that the card is going to be worth more because I expect this deck to have removal in it. Bummer. Alright. So they can snap, drown in the lock here. Well, it does let me kill Tarmogoyf at least. So green, black, while they're tapped out. I guess they could have Force of Negation, but they don't. Get out of here. They've got their basic. Now it's Lurrus is looming. Shocked in an Overgrown Tomb. Probably just going to get Lurrus and play it right now. Accurate. Drawing another Phantasmal Image would be cool. Then I can copy Lurrus and cast the other image. Target creature you control, that doesn't help. Shit, drew the wrong clone. I think that was my window to do anything here. Quaddle's back from the graveyard, drawing more cards. They don't even need Tarmogoyf. This game's gonna end anyway. Link to Dust, my... Is that Bring to Light? Yeah, you got it. Fearlessly attacking with Luris. They're not worried about anything, and I wouldn't be either. That's definitely the right attack. Ooh, found another Bring to Light. Let's see if they have another counterspell. So green, blue, red, white, black. Let's party. They only have 3 cards in their hand. What are the chances? 100%. All right. Okay, so against this particular deck full of removal and counter spells, I think I just have to go like mid-range creature deck. That does sort of give up on the meme, but I think that showing that this deck can win games too sometimes is worth pivoting off of the main plan if necessary. So quasi-duplicate, Crackling Counterpart. Phantasmal Image is still good. Like copying a Luris or a Snapcaster Mage off of them is a big deal. So cards that come in. Endurance, huge deal. Scavenging Ooze, big deal. I think I like the Vindicates. Grilled Mystic, fight back in the Counter War. I don't think I want to go Avalanche Riders. Selfless Spirit is good against their removal. Cataclysmic Gearhulk is kind of a thick boy, but a 5-drop is a lot to ask. We saw Cling to Dust in their main deck, so maybe the Reanimator package is going to be unreliable. So Knight of Autumn, Gearhulk, and is it Slime time? Or is it Persist time? I could play 1 Persist. Like that's not a big ask. I do still have this Archon in my deck. Gonna have to hardcast it. I imagine that this deck has Mishra's Bauble in it, so Collector Oof isn't a blank. Yeah, I think this is just the deck. After some consideration, we're going in. I could have cut Archon for another Oof or the Acidic Slime, but I think we can get to 8 mana. This is a keeper. Modern is full of decks that basically just want to be ships in the night, and just whoever rams their thing early and often is going to win. And unfortunately, we're not playing against one of them. I think I need Breeding Pool out of this, so that makes green, black, white, yeah. Cast the bird on turn 1. Yeah, against interactive decks that actually can like remove a Siege Rhino in response to the clone on the Siege Rhino, like that's actually a big problem for the deck. And I have no problem mitigating that through sideboard plans. Inquisition, okay. I have a Trophy and a Vindicate in there, so they're going to take a removal spell either way. They'll probably take the Vindicate because I'm about to pick off their land. Like one of these ramps them, the other Stone Rains them. I would have been pretty happy to Stone Rain this opponent. Maybe not in the face of Noble Hierarch. I will not... Yes, I will shock this in. If I need to trophy something, I want to be able to do it. And if they Inquisition me again, I can get my 3-drops out of the hand. And turning Noble Hierarch into a basic land, I guess, is technically a downgrade of their permanent. They got a Breeding Pool, a second Noble Hierarch. Tarmogoyf, they knew about that. They know I can answer that. Alright, this Hierarch attacking. Oh, no, I'm not going to trophy now because this land does come into play untapped. I would hate for them to, like, get a free opt out of me or something here. But I am going to do it in the end step. Let's get that out of here. And I hope I draw a land and get to go to Rhino Town. Fuck! I'll just continue my beatdowns. Yeah, missing an actual land drop is a nightmare. There are 24 lands in the deck, so stacked up to actually make land drops. That turn where they were tapped low was probably my chance to get the Rhino in. But now they can hold up Cryptic Command or whatever. Drown in the Lock is on. It's all pretty bad news from here. If I hit the land, if I runner lands just 2 in a row, then I can start throwing big spells onto the stack and maybe take this back, but that was the pivotal turn that just came and went, where I needed to get something big on while I was ahead. Explosives on 2. Alright, you got it. I can kill myself with Spirit. And they put Luris in hand. Alright, they tapped low again. So I'm going to get my Rhino in. It's time. What is the best land to get? I already have double blue. What else matters in the deck? I guess getting the red here. I can't get the red. This is Flooded Strand. So I don't need to bring to light for 5 anyway. Like 4 is the cap on that. So I could get... There's no double white in the deck. There's... Oh, Cataclysmic Gearhulk is double white. That's true. There is double green, double blue off Frilled Mystic. Scavenging Ooze likes green mana as well. So does Endurance. So I'm going to get the breeding pool. Yeah, that's good. I'm in. Green, black, white. And number 4, here's that Rhino they knew about. Is there a 1 mana counterspell for Siege Rhino? Oh no, they're just fetching in response. Deal. Then start bashing. Okay, Tarmogoyf is big. Bigger than Siege Rhino, I think. They're the same size, actually. But Siege Rhino does have the burn you out mode. Alright, I'm going to sack Selfless Spirit to make my Rhino indestructible in response to that. This will at least demand that they answer it now, if they're going to answer it. Okay, so they can Fatal Push here. But that does take them off doing Luris-related activities for the turn. Yeah, there's the Fatal Push. Now my creatures are indestructible, and they killed their own Snapcaster Mage. That was great. No attacks. Alright, they're holding up Drown in the Lock. So I can ram this Rhino on the stack straight into Drown. I'm gonna test their counterspells with the Oof. Like, if they want to dedicate their Drown in the Lock to this, that's fine. And if they don't, then it turns off the Engineered Explosives and any Mishra's Baubles they might draw. The bad news is... got him. The bad news is that Luris just cast Tarmogoyf here, and they still have up Drown in the Lock. The good news is I turned off their Mishra's Bauble, but that doesn't actually matter that much. Tarmogoyf's in. It's a 5/6. So they have 1 card left in their hand. For now. Ugh. Someday. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna cast the Siege Rhino into the Drown in the Lock. Oh, they didn't have it. Wow. Interesting. So I'm just gonna hang out with my 4/5 and play. And hope to draw a land to cast this Bring to Light. Quaddle's pretty good. That has Death Touch, and it's a recurring card draw off Luris, even through the Oof. They actually did a really good job representing Drown in the Lock. Now that I know they didn't have it, that turn they didn't attack. Oh, two Noble Hierarchs don't cast Drown in the Lock. They need black mana. Yeah, I just totally blew it. That turn they didn't attack with Hierarch. Should have just jammed Rhino. Whoops. Though, I did accidentally, I'm not going to say I did this on purpose or take credit for it, but I did totally accidentally turn off this Mishra's Bauble by playing around Drown on the Collector Oof, with the Collector Oof, which ultimately ended up being better for me. Luris has Lifelink, and they have 2 Sources of Exalted. That's a good attack. Come on, deck. Land. Also Siege Rhino. It's on the stack. You have another Drown? Nope. Alright, let's keep that working. What a ridiculous game this is. I will trade my Rhino for Luris if they make that same attack again. And I'll just take 7 from Tarmogoyf if they don't. Oh right, they have the Snapcaster, they can snap back Drown with Luris. Yep, that was on board the whole time. A game like this makes me wish I had a Supreme Verdict in my Bring to Light package. But Cataclysmic Gearhulk does a pretty comparable thing here. No, it doesn't. They get to keep Luris, and I just die to that. Alright, so I can bring for 4. So I'm gonna green, black, white, blue. Alright, Bring to Light for 4 colors. They're paying costs. They have something. Shadow. Ouch. That was a blowout. And I am dead on board with no outs. Their deck's really cool. I like that a lot. Bugler's control. That's a deck I can respect. On to the next round. On the play in the second round, I got a pretty fast Rhino here. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to lead on Basic Forest, just in case they are something Burny or Prowessy. And I also think that I'm going to lead on Bird. I'm not sure if it matters much. Like, basically, Bird, I don't think they're more likely to kill one than the other. Like, if both the Bird is your plan, Ignoble Hierarch is also a Bird. Alright, Soulscar Mage is in play. Aladomri's Call. Okay. That makes me glad that I led on... No, I guess it doesn't matter. I can make the mana work to cast these two spells. Either way. Right, so I can get basic planes if I want to save life and still cast Call this turn. So I'm not going to attack here. Lava Dart is bad for me here. Real bad. Steam Vents. Swift Spear. Oh god, they had it. Low green. Yeah, this is messed up. It's a tough time to be a fair mana dork wizard. So I have to tutor something with Call that doesn't necessarily invite Lava Dart. Like, if I get a second Rhino, they're just going to dart this and send me back 2 turns. And they might do it anyway. I'll have to double check what's in the list once this Call is on the stack. Your Call has been cast. What do I want to get here? Phantasmal Image. Really, the only thing there is to get is the Rhino. I guess I could get another bird and try to set up... No, I could just get Phantasmal Image and invest in my future. I'm going to do that. Alright, they couldn't be fooled. The 2-for-1, well, they lose a mountain, so it is a 2-for-2, but they clear your entire board, deal 6 to you line was just too juicy. And I'm not going to clone a Soulscar Mage just to absorb damage. That might result in me losing the game here. They just go like bolt, bolt. That's 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, that's 12 if they just have double bolt. Wow, Lava Dart. What a card. Here's the attacks. How deep do they want to go? Alright, just 2 damage. I'm likely to get another turn. So I need black mana off of this. I think I'm going to get Watery Grave because that also gives me double blue for clones. Oh, baby. I hope this Siege Rhino survives 1 turn, and then I can Rhino off on them. The Soulscar Mage is kind of a beating because being able to shrink the Rhino is really good. That makes blocking a little trickier than I want it to be. Like if I block Swift Spear and they bolt the Rhino, it becomes a 2-3. Or a 1-2. It becomes a 1-2. And then this becomes a 2-3. And I just lose my Rhino to 1 bolt and don't even get anything out of the deal. So I may just have to not block at all and untap into the Phantasmal Images. The images getting targeted by anything dying also makes Lava Dart really good. So there's some concerns in a variety of directions here. If they hit their land drop off the iteration, smooth exactly what they want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I'm dead if I don't block. Yeah, I lose the lightning bolt if I don't block also, so I might as well block. Right, they had the lightning bolt. I lose my Rhino, which means that I lose the game because cloning it was my only plan, but I needed 1 more life point to have a chance here. Alright, what can I even do with this? Not much. I can make my own Sprite Dragons. I guess that is like a thing I can technically do. They do block flyers. Yeah, this was a beating. That Lava Dart was everything. If this whole game happens, like, but I am ahead on 1 mana versus not being ahead on 1 mana, then I think I'm winning. I get to clone my Rhinos before I'm dead on board. Yeah, Lava Dart, too good. Alright, yeah, now they're just bolting me out. Right, they had a Storming Entity off that bolt. I'm at 3. I don't even think I have a draw that can win the game at all. Yeah, alright. Yeah, I'm just dead. I'm not even going to block. I don't have a Supreme Verdict to get with Bring to Light, even if I draw Bring to Light. So, and that's rough. Okay, so Scavenging Ooze. Eidolon of Rhetoric actually seems insane against Prowess. And Endurance does block creatures, and sometimes does a surprise. It has a huge ass. Acidic Slime's Death Touch is not nothing, but it's also not super important. Like, it's a 5-drop. I don't know if I should just get off of the birds entirely. Like, is that a game that my deck can play? Like, no ramp, no fixing, but can my deck afford to get hit with Lava Dart either? Like, that sounds like a worse deal. So Cackling Counterpart is an instant. Quasi-Duplicate is not. I don't think we're going to have enough time to go off with Jumpstart. So I think that the Cackling Counterpart being an instant is a little more interesting. That can mess up combat. I want the Reanimator package completely intact for this matchup because something like Archon of Cruelty can really shut the door. I think the Progenitor Mimic might be a bit of a dream. And is it Frilled Mystic, Selfless Spirit, or Cataclysmic Gearhulk? Actually, yeah, I think it's definitely the Gearhulk. Just get that out of here. Sweep up a board if I need to. Bring to Light casts the card that it gets, so I have to keep in mind that Eidolon of Rhetoric is a non-bow with Bring to Light. Just doesn't even work. I think that this is the plan I want to execute on. Maybe Selfless Spirit is better than something more expensive. Selfless Spirit dies to Lava Dart. And I specifically tried to get off Lava Dart here. So here we are. I'm going to try to put Archon of Cruelty into play. And I have the Persist, but not the Entomb. I can cast Eldamri's Call, but this hand is a little too clone heavy to do anything. Alright, this one has a removal spell on a Rhino. I'm going to keep it. And I can send one of these lands and hope to clone my Rhino. I am going to do that. I play more lands in the deck than anything else, so I'm going to hope to draw one by turn 4 and still be alive. I play my Windswept Teeth in case I need to fetch the basic planes, but I hope I can just get a dual land here. Yeah, I'm not going to path a Swift Spear for 1 damage. Having my mana under me will be worth a lot more over the course of a long game. So I can get Hallowed Fountain instead here, and that starts setting up my blue for a Cackling Counterpart. Alright, found a Bring to Light. I'm going to play Breeding Pool tapped. So that's white-green. This can fetch black. 2 draw steps to find the land before I'm just punished. They're fetching an Arid Mesa and Manamorphose. Path to exiling a Stormwing Entity sounds just fine here. Yeah. I'm going to let them scry first before I path, because that's going to mess up their scry. Just a little consolation prize there. They put 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. I'll let the Swift Spear connect, and then path later. It's out of here. Alright, deck. How about a land? Unmarked Grave. Oh, that's so close to being what I want. So if I draw lands for the next 2 turns, I get to cast Siege Rhino, then even if they kill it, I can Unmarked Grave it and Cackling Counterpart it. Be a huge bummer not to draw a land here, though. Manamorphose, you got it. Have their land drop. It makes Expressive Iteration worse if they go for one of those, but they have Entity. Important theory note is that this deck is built with having 6 birds in it in mind. Like 24 lands is really not that many for a deck that wants to cast 4 and 5 drops on curve. So boarding them out against Lava Dart might end up leaving me hanging here on just ability to create mana. And I do think saving 2 life on the shock is going to be worth more than having one more land in my deck to maybe draw it this turn. And yes, always had it. So I'm going to fetch, and I think I want to get the basic island, because that lets me tap Watery Grave and another land and still have double blue up next turn for a counterpart. This is where I just get Aether Gusted into the dirt. Alright, Siege Rhino resolved. We didn't get Aether Gusted into the dirt. And I will block the hell out of this Monastery of Swiftspear if I'm given the opportunity. If I'm not just dead to the flyer. Oh, Vapor Snag. Yikes. That must have been the draw for the turn, or else they would... Oh, no, they wouldn't have end stepped it because they're a prowess deck. Alright. Oh, god, I'm dead. So this is 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Alright, yep, just dead. Okay. You got me. Oh, they had the Lava Dart too. They're just showing off. Okay. Yes, absolutely destroyed by prowess. Maybe this list needs some more interaction in it. Like, rather than just this full sideboard creature package, there should just be, like, 2 more Path to Exiles, some Abrupt Decays, etc. I mean, I have the Vindicates, but you might not need 2 of these. I just wanted to play with the new toys. Maybe Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy is better there. But, I don't know. Let's keep playing. On the play, and I'm going to have to mulligan this. I have the Persist, but the Archon's in my hand, and I don't actually have any way to discard it. I can only entomb it or cast it. So I'm going to mulligan this, because it's already a 6, because this is not a card I can use. There we go. It's Rhino time. I'm going to ship the Duplicate for now. And I'm just going to play my Stomping Ground tapped. Because I don't think it really matters what order I play my lands, and this does make green for the call if I want to call next turn. So does that. Alright, this makes white. So I have my Rhino on lock here. I'm ready to do that. Looks like we're playing against some sort of Omnath pile. That deck's probably more powerful than mine. I'm just going to fetch and not call right now. So I think I want to get Godless Shrine, because that is black if I draw the Entomb, and it's white if I want to call. Okay, nice. Birds of Paradise plus Eldamri's Call. Get to double spell this turn. They're fetching in the end step. It's getting a tapped Shockland. Oh, they had Terminus. Yikes. See you later, Birds of Paradise. Nice try, buddy. Alright, we're playing against a Terminus deck, which is just an absolute nightmare. In case you didn't know, my deck is out here trying to assemble lots of the same stupid creature. It's been a tough league so far. Alright, I'm just going to grab a second Siege Rhino to start the Rhinoceros party. Also, this is the worst hand to ever have 2 persists in, because my opponent, they've already shown us Terminus, and they probably have Path to Exile as their other removal spell of choice. This is a good matchup for Archon of Cruelty, though. A little opt in my combat step. They kept their card on top and fetched. I actually didn't even notice this was Flooded Strand because of the art that they're using. I thought it was Prairie Stream. So they just cracked their Prairie Stream for Prairie Stream. Oh, is this Supreme Verdict? Nope, Jace. Alright, Jace doesn't line up super well against Siege Rhino. Yeah, you can bounce that one. Deal. Alright, Rhino's back. Back again. Rhino's back. Tell your friends. You can't force some negation of Siege Rhino. That's just a fact of life. And if they find another answer to Siege Rhino, or they could even brainstorm into one with Jace, that is a play pattern that gets this game won. I am rooting for Supreme Verdict, though, if they're going to kill this thing. So I'm thinking that 2.5 matches in at this point, I don't think you can have a light Reanimator package in a deck. Like, I think that you need to have 4 Entomb, 4 Reanimate, or just none of either. Because multiple times now we've drawn like this half or that half, and it's just not very good. I'm going to fetch here. I don't have double blue yet. So I'm going to get Breeding Pool. So my opponent should know by now that I'm a Bring to Light deck, if they're paying attention at all. Yeah. This is a good one. White, green, black. Representing Mystical Dispute. I don't think they're going to believe me, but I am representing it. Alright, so Teferi can tuck my Siege Rhino and let Jace brainstorm. So like these two can take turns drawing cards. Or Teferi is just going to continue plussing. Go nuts. Alright. They could also just draw 4 and hope to find another answer to the Rhino. That works. Field of Ruin is pretty good, but I do have a bunch of basics in my deck. Rainstone. It's crazy to me that this card's actually getting played. Maybe Brainstorm is just worth 3 mana sometimes, but this card is just so bad. At least compared to actual Brainstorm, obviously. So I think I want the swamp. No, I want the blue. Doesn't matter. So if they... I don't have another red source, so they can take me off Bring to Light for 5. But that's not really an important part of my plan anyway. I'm going to get Island. Because my clones are blue hungry, as we've discussed. If they counter my Siege Rhino, I can persist it immediately. So that's a nice play. Uh-oh. I need to stop drawing basic lands, though, because they have a Field of Ruin in play. Alright, Rhino's on the stack. Counter target spell. Bring it back. Do that again. This Brainstorm with Field of Ruin is the full Brainstorm with a shuffle. That's pretty cool. Alright, Rhino's in again. I have not attacked once, and they're at 5. That's how much work these Rhinos are doing. And the reanimation spell. So I have Siege Rhino and Persist available here. So that is 6 more life, possibly. So Teferi... Alright, Teferi's still a turn away from ultimate. We're good. Wow, Teferi ultimate and then immediately brainstorming and brainstoning. They just get to Hadoken all of my permanents out of play. That's messed up. And they are just on the path to the ultimate here. Uh-oh. This looks like a plan to win the game. Siege Rhino. Do you have 2 more counter spells? Snapcaster Mage, you got it. Targeting Archmage Charm. So I am going to get to persist this Rhino again. Put them to 2. 1 mana short of winning this game right now. Guess they could have Force of Negation. Shit. Okay. Alright. I can Phantasmal Image persist, or Snapcaster, targeting persist, and persist a Rhino next turn. I do have a basic left. Exactly 1. Seems they didn't want to activate their Brainstone before that shuffle, but they do have a Flooded Strand, so it doesn't matter. Oh, they were shuffling away a Jace card too, so that was probably a really good use of their shuffle. Another Teferi. The wrong one. I mean, my deck doesn't really have instants, so it's fine, but this Teferi is ready to pop off and just eat 6 permanents next turn. Wow, they even bounced their Snapcaster so I can't clone it. That's so smart. Yeah, and they can Snapcaster Force of Negation. I can actually beat that line if I draw Siege Rhino there, but obviously I did not. Alright. They went to 5 life just from Rhino triggers. Couldn't quite get the last 2 over the finish line. So I'm going to want Vindicate in this matchup. And Teferi turns off Scavenging, or Bring to Light. 3 mana Teferi turns off Bring to Light, which is a huge nightmare. I think beating up their lands is a reasonable plan. Terminus is really awful. I think I just need to... God, these clones. I want it to work at least once, but it's just like very obviously the worst thing that I have going on. And I'm gonna go thinner on my mana dorks too because of Terminus. Like, you don't just want to expose extra cards into that if you don't have to. So Night of Autumn is in. Like, I just have these beaters. And I think Scavenging Ooze is probably better than Phantasmal Image here. And tough crowd. This is a tough league. Modern's a powerful format. Right, I have a 2-lander that does cast a spread of spells. I'm going to keep this and have faith in my deck that I'll draw some lands. I'm going to lead on the breeding pool because I don't want to fetch yet because I do want to increase my chances of drawing lands by not thinning them out of the deck. Turn 1 Brainstone, broken. Uh-oh. Could be in trouble here. So now I have the choice of Eldamri's Calling. I think I should call for a Birds of Paradise. Godless Shrine is the one that casts all my spells here. So I'm going to call for a bird. Yeah, that sets up the Rhino. Oh, God. Yikes. Counterspell on my Bird of Paradise. Alright, that was bad. I could still draw... I guess I can't cast Vindicate with just any land. I do need specific lands. Jesus. Alright. This one's going to end quickly. Are there just not enough lands in this deck? I only cut... Did I cut 2 or 3 mana dorks? I cut 3 mana dorks, but that's still 27 mana sources. That's like close to half the deck. Alright. Shock this in. And I think I want a Knight of Autumn. Just to get like something on the board here. And I can at least start messing up their Brainstones. Maybe make them do something they don't want to do. They could also just Cryptic Command. I want to save my Vindicates and Trophies for their Planeswalkers. If I had been able to cast the Vindicate on curve, maybe I would have hit one of their lands. But definitely going after payoffs is, I think, how I'm going to beat this deck more than trying to mana screw them. Especially in the face of all these Brainstones. Alright, green, white. Try again. Another Birds of Paradise. Here it is. This is not one they want to Path to Exile, so I do have that going for me. Oh, they're just going to steal it. Nice. Yeah, that's fair. The old Annex. 3 mana Annex. That makes their Terminus a little worse, but I don't think they care. They have nothing to Terminus right now. And cast Jace off my own bird. The full insult. Alright, they're targeting me with Jace already. I mean, I clearly am looking for lands here, so maybe that's not the worst play on the entire planet. But alright, I'm gonna go for the Assassin's Trophy first. So I'm actually gonna do it right now also. Now that they tapped low on mana, they're gonna have to go Hellbent to force of negation this from here. I guess they could have like Spell Pierce. Okay, Jace is gone. But then they get to Brainstone. Alright, they shuffled away the Brainstone. So they had that perfect clean little Brainstorm. Draw 3, put 2 back. Get rid of the ones you don't want. Another Brainstone. Really, my hand is just... Alright, cool. My hand is nice and steady once I actually start casting spells. Right, here we go. Let's just start putting Siege Rhinos on this deck. They have 3 cards left in their hand and 2 Brainstones in play. So let's get to work. Right, and they're fixing their draws with Castle Vantress. That's pretty good. They top-bottomed the Vantress. Brainstoning on the main phase. They have enough mana. I'm sure that's the right play. Most Brainstorms are best off in your main phase. That's just a general heuristic that I have. There's obviously times where you want to do it at other times, but the best Brainstorms are going to be in your main phase. Rest in peace. Okay. So that turns off their Snapcaster Mages, but also my Persists. That's like only... Great. I was about to say, that's only part of my plan. But if you've watched this league so far, you would have known 100% that I was going to draw a Persist there. Alright, we have a Rhino in. Have to exile me, baby. Load it up. What do I need? Blue. I have double blue, double black. Don't have double white, and Cataclysmic Gearhulk is in the deck. I don't have red, but I can't get it here. So white, black. I think I'm gonna get green. Is green the right answer? So I have Endurance in the deck. Archon's in the deck. Acidic Slime's in the deck, but I have double green already. I think I want blue. Pop in the other Brainstone. Alright, they're running out of in-play resources. And that's really what this game's about, just overrun the resources of the control deck. This is not a great Brainstone. Pretty sure they already saw 2 of those cards off their last main phase Brainstone, and then that only saw 1 new card, and they didn't have a shuffle already. And not that it matters. Like, let me be perfectly clear. If they're just in the business of jamming Jace, it doesn't matter much. But that I think they could have done better with that Brainstone. They have so much mana, it's hard to believe that they would have trouble activating it in the main phase and see more cards. Cracking their Polluted Delta. Jace using Brainstorm mode. That's the scary one. I always hope my opponent makes a mistake and just aggro Fate Seals me. But this opponent didn't fall for that. Okay, so I can try to Vindicate the Jace straight into this Cryptic Command. What is more important to me as far as spells resolving goes? Like, I could go for a Bring to Light this turn, also straight into Cryptic Command. What does Bring to Light even get? I could get Acidic Slime, Avalanche Riders, not super exciting. Cataclysmic Gearhulk doesn't do much here. Yeah, I don't have a great Bring to Light. I think I'm just going to go for a Rhino. I'm going to get my Stomping Ground. Blue, white, green, black. They didn't counter this. And there's 2 creatures in play, so this Phantasmal Image will either get to copy Rhino or Birds of Paradise. I get a little ramp out of the deal. I want black off of this one. No, I want white. I have double black already. I don't have double white in case I draw a second white spell. Alright, give me that. Give me that bird. This poor Persist. It tried so hard to be good, but it's just not. They just paused in their draw step, and I don't think they've been doing that the whole game, so I think they did just draw Terminus, which means they're floating a Terminus with Jace. Or they Fate Sealed me. That's so frequently not the right play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so I can Bring to Light, and if they counter that, I can sneak the Vindicate in on the Jace. Alright, I'm going for Bring to Light. Red, blue, white, green, and I need a black. And black, and I can still cast Vindicate with what's left. Alright, let's bring it. Problem is, this isn't even very good. Even if it resolves, but I hope they're scared of it. And if they don't counter it, I think that just means they don't have a counter spell. Okay, did you have 2? I did my best, but they have sculpted their hand a lot this game. Ooh, Jace is in the graveyard. I did not expect that to work. Now they're going to start fixing their draws with Castle. They have a little Teferi. It can't bounce any creature in play. That's kind of funny. Oh, good. You know what else is funny? This combo with this Rest in Peace. I think I just have to do nothing and pass the turn. I could cast Gearhulk, but it literally doesn't remove anything from play. Like, I could at least wait till they have a second Planeswalker and get some value, a second creature, a second enchantment. I've already used my Assassin's Trophy. There is 1 Vindicate left in the deck. I could Vindicate, Rest in Peace, and then get my Archon in. Or I could play Siege Rhino, white, black, green. Rhino's in. Alright, we have a win condition. And again, this isn't something you want to bounce with Teferi. They've been aggressively bottoming cards with their Castle Vantress. There's a Terminus. That's not bad. Siege Rhino, closest to the top. I think I will shuffle before I draw my whole deck. So it doesn't matter much, but just in case we get there, I want to draw the Rhino first. Oh, Ride or Die. Here it comes. This does have haste, so that's nice. Unfortunately, it runs straight into a Snapcaster Mage. I'm going to destroy Castle Vantress. That's their biggest card right now. Alright, that was not bad. They can ambush this with a Snapcaster Mage, but I'm still going to make the attack I can make. Craft Exile, that's even better. I got a lot of basics in this deck. Alright, basic lands are in play. I'm a Vindicate away from Archon. I can also just cast Archon if I draw it. Right, it might be time to cast Gearhulk. Just as a thing on the board. They could also just let this resolve. It removes nothing from play, and then they can bounce it with Teferi. This is pretty sad. I believe Knight of Autumn's already been used this game too. Yep, Knight of Autumn is out. Acidic Slime can remove the Rest in Peace. So that's good. The Fracturing Gust I didn't board in, and I'm not going to for game 3 if there is one either. I think they're just reading this card over and over again, making sure that it doesn't actually do anything. And I promise it doesn't. Yeah, it's in play. No permanents will die. I will choose this one. Okay. Nothing changed. I'm going to make my land drop because the Archon is hungry. Yep. Bounce my Gearhulk. Surprise. Rhino. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I can Gearhulk into Rhino, which plays hard into Terminus, but if they want to counter this one, the Rhino is actually the better card here. Rhino on the stack. Double spell. 9 mana. Fair and square. Ooh, alright. At least they didn't get to draw 2 cards off that. I'll count that as a win. Just looking for Slime or Vindicate. Counterpart is not what I needed. It's also really bad with Teferi. Plus Teferi and pass the turn. Misty. Alright, I'm about out of lands in the deck. Oh, come on. You got that too? I guess that makes sense. So now I have to beat this Containment Priest and the Rest in Peace with these 2 cards in my hand. What format am I playing? It's starting to feel like Legacy. And I usually root for the blue-white player, but that doesn't behoove me this time. I guess I'll keep making land drops, keep pulling lands out of the deck. Another beatdown. I'm on that 6-turn clock right now, which is probably plenty. I'm gonna leave the basic in the deck for a Path to Exile or Field of Ruin. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. This is just good sideboarding from my opponent. More beats, down to 10. They have 5 cards in their hand. Not feeling good about this one. They're bounced their Priest. Why? Just to play around removal? Aha! That I'll show you. Priest is back. Cackling Counterpart also only hits creatures I control, so I can't like copy their Priest and even just be on board. Have I gone through all 4 Rhinos this game? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Rhinos are gone. Alright, drew another land. I don't even think this one has anything it can fetch. I think every fetchable land is in play already. There's a basic forest still in the deck. Oh wow, yeah, they were not going to lose to Reanimator today. Now I'm on a 2-turn clock, suddenly from 4 turns down to 2. Still not blocking. Not interested. Alright. Shut down by blue-white control. On to the next one. I'm on the play again, and this time I have the Unmarked Grave, and not the Persist, which is the right order to draw those in. And I have Yavimaya. First appearance of this card. First time I've ever played with it. So, here we go. Birds of Paradise off Yavimaya, turn 1. Love it. Alright, playing against another black deck. So it's a Lurrus deck. This looks like Shadow. Oh no, it's Mill. Oh yeah, mill me. Please mill me. I might even mill myself. You don't know what's coming. So I could quasi-duplicate my Birds of Paradise and try to pull ahead to a faster Bring to Light. Alright, I am just gonna crack this. Not worried about Archive Trap. I have Unmarked Grave. So I already have green off Yavimaya, so I think blue-black is what I need to get here. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think counterparting my bird at instant speed is going to be better than quasi-duplicating it right now. So that does sort of play into removal. So yeah, let's duplicate my bird. Bang. Here we go. The Archon's in the graveyard. So are several quasi-duplicates. Though mill decks do frequently play main deck surgical extractions, which is kind of scary. So they are continuing to mill me for large chunks. Full half of my deck is in the graveyard already. If I draw any land, I can bring to light for persist. Though the mill is going to be really weird because I only have one of most of the lands I'd want to have. There are 2 persists in the graveyard. There's 1 left in the deck. Extracting my quasi-duplicates and not my persists. I like that. Just they could have multiple surgicals in hand. Check what my plan is. Or just wait for me to cast persist. I don't know. Anything could happen here. Looking for that land deck. That's not the land deck. It is the Rhino, though. Here we go. Alright, Siege Rhinos on the stack. They're going to draw 1,000,000 cards in response. Drain you. That'll show you. The modern mill deck is crazy good with the 8 crabs, and I'm kind of worried about Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which has been spoiled from the D&D set already. That card just seems really good in this deck. Alright, I drew a land, but I don't want them to know I drew a land yet. I'm just going to attack. So I can make 2 more Rhinos. So 4 puts them to 7. 2 more Rhinos isn't even lethal. Extracting my Cackling Counterpart. That's an instant, though. So I will cast it. If they also have, like, Fatal Push here, they just blew me out. They are fetching. I guess Drown in the Lock also does the thing. You got me. They still have not milled the last persist. It's still in there somewhere. Oh, they countered Cackling Counterpart instead of killing Siege Rhino? What are you doing? Alright, deal. Okay, so if there is not a land left in my deck, or if their hand contains Archive Trap, I lose. So guess I'm gonna have to just actually do a land count here. 17 lands are currently accounted for. Oh wait, no, I don't have to do either because I have Yavimaya. Wow. Life is good. I'm really glad they decided to counter my spell instead of destroy my creature. I'm still dead to a fetch land here. I'm dead to basically anything, but I was able to at least put lethal on the board, which is more than I've done in any previous match this league. Alright, yeah, you had it. Good job. Alright, Endurance is actually going to be insane here because I can target myself and unmill my deck. I'm excited about that one. Endurances are coming straight in. Vindicate, I like. World Mystic, I like. We don't need the Unmarked Graves. The Persists are bangers. Just punish them for their nonsense. Knight of Autumn will have targets. They frequently play Mesmeric Orb. Scavenging Ooze can kind of play around the Surgicals by eating the card they're targeting. I at least get to keep the ones in their deck. Right, Progenitor Mimic. Sorry, I think you've outlived your life here. Bring to Light does search my deck for Archive Trap, but I think that's fine. Quasi-Duplicate and Cackling Counterpart can chill. It's fun that those play out of the graveyard, so my opponent might want to respect them, but they don't actually have to and probably shouldn't. So I'm into that. Between Aladomri's Call and all the fetch lands and my 5-color mana base, like, searching my deck is gonna happen, period. So I'm not gonna cut Bring to Light based on that. Yeah, this looks like as good a configuration as anything. Oh, except that it's 61 cards, but I already hit submit, Moto loaded it. 61 card special. That's my tech against Mill. I hope I win with 1 card left in my deck. I have the Endurance and a green card to pitch. I'm going to keep this hand. Go ahead. Trap me. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. So I already have green and black, or blue and black, so I want green white off of this fetch land, it seems. Makes sense to me. And I can turn to hard cast this Endurance. They didn't have the trap. Crab. So I can shock in one of these lands. Or I could not do that and just cast Eldamri's Call. Like, Endurance has Flash, so there's no rush on that. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Watery Grave. Or, not cast it, I'm gonna play Watery Grave. And then I'm holding up Assassin's Trophy or Eldamri's Call. Maybe I'm just supposed to trophy the crab before they hit a land drop. Yeah, that makes sense. Get out of here, crab. I don't necessarily love ramping them, but I like them not having a crab. And I like casting Assassin's Trophy before they have a second crab. Oh. Alright. Opponent's feeling crabby over there. Mill me for 12 despite me destroying a crab 1 second ago. Alright, Endurance is at the ready. I could persist up a Siege Rhino here. Or I could just play this tapped and wait. Lie and wait. That's my plan. I want them to commit a little more resources before I reset myself with Endurance. Or commit to a Surgical Extraction on something, and then I can endure. Or if they commit to a Ancestral Visions, or whatever that card's called. Alright, right now I have the open mana. I think it's time. Let's endure, reset this deck. You slurp it up. And I can Cackling Counterpart my Endurance at instant speed. That's hot. Okay, we've got a plan now. Let's beat down with it with 3/4s. They're gonna Luris here. Or they can Luris here. It's on the table. There's a crab in the graveyard to go with the Luris. We know their hand doesn't have Surgical. Oh, nice Visions of Beyond. Draw 1. Absolutely brutal. I love Endurance. I'm obsessed with this card. If you've watched my other videos, you know how high I am on this in Legacy. And it's doing work here in Modern as well. Right, they are crabbing me. If they cast Luris this turn, I'm gonna... Or if they tap low enough that they can't Drown in the Lock my counterpart, I'm gonna make another Endurance and just reset my deck again. If they just go for the Luris here, that's shields up, or shields down as far as I'm concerned. Or even a Glimpse, something like that. It's all good. If they try to Surgical Extract this Cackling Counterpart, I can cast this one in response and shuffle away that one and they don't get anything. Alright, I'm gonna Cackle in response to Luris. Another one. If they're Surgicaling my counterparts in response, that's alright. The damage is done. Get rid of those. And I have 5 mana, so I can Eldamri's Call for another Endurance at instant speed. Ooh. Hell yeah, Frilled Mystic. So I'm only going to attack with 1 Endurance because the Luris attacking back does the same thing. Like it attacks back for 3 lifelink, and that's basically the same thing as just leaving Endurance back on defense. I'll whittle their life total down and then start making bigger attacks later. The fun of Frilled Mystic is here to party. There's the crab from the graveyard. That's not the spell I'm countering. Ooh, they don't even have a land drop. Alright, I think I'm gonna Eldamri's Call in the end step. They can't Drown in the Lock. I don't care if they Archive Trap. So I'm gonna get another Endurance. And just be ready with that. I'm still making 3-point attacks here. They can start chumping and refiring, so maybe I should be attacking with 2. Try to pull ahead. I could also Endurance their graveyard. That's not against the rules. Sucks drawing Archon, because that's like the thing I want milled more than anything. Blue, green, blue, green. I'll counter a Fatal Push. I don't think they're going to mill my entire deck in 1 turn. I can tap out of Endurance right now. Not a huge deal. Yes, I would like to counter that spell, thank you. Alright, so now I have a 3rd attacker in play, and I can just ram through, and I'm netting damage even with Luris's lifelink on the clapback. But also Endurance flashing in and blocking Luris bricks that. So, okay. We've got a plan. Crab number 3. Did you find a land? You did. Alright. Milling me still. That was not a very good mill. Or they did hit an assassin's trope, or not an assassin, a phantasmal image, which can become another endurance off of persist. So mill me for a zillion. There's a Siege Rhino. Yeah, so in order to one-shot me through endurance, because it has flash, they would need to mill my entire deck on their turn and make me draw a card. Okay, they get to Visions from Beyond here. Ooh, Surgical Extraction, that's good too. What are you going to go for? I don't think there's any redundant copies of anything in my graveyard that's also in my hand. Siege Rhino, sure. So I'm not going to be able to burn them out with Rhinos. But that Persist, or that Surgical does increase my ability to cast Persist on the Phantasmal image. Do I even want to bring Delight? I don't think so. I think I just want to persist a Phantasmal image. So, black, colorless, bomb myself again. If I attack now, they can trade off with Snapcaster Mage, and then that gives them a Luris. Another thing they can Luris with. But if I sweep their board, they'll probably just trade Snapcaster for the Frilled Mystic. Then I think I bomb them here. Just main phase Endurance, target opponent, and Luris gets a whole lot worse. Alright, there we go. All in. Alright, they just had nothing go. And now I'm going to attack with all my creatures before I make any decisions about spells I'm going to cast. Here they come. 11 power. You're at 4. You can gain 3. You're still dead with that block. Okay, so they decided they'd rather keep a crab in play than than actually trade off with Luris. That's interesting. They're at 1. Is there something I can bring to light for that kills them? They've gotten rid of my Siege Rhinos, so it's not looking good. I'm just going to play this land and pass. I'm not going to turn on the 4 archive traps in their hand. Yeah, look at that. They're just casting them. No land drop, just draw go. Time to attack with all my creatures again. Here they are. Every single one of them's lethal. Snapcaster can block. Right, Drown in the Lock kills one of these things. What else you got? Drown in the Lock kills another one of these things. Okay. They can block with the 2 power one with the 0/3. They lose the other crab. This is getting a little bit interesting. I can bring to light next turn. I didn't bring in my haste creature, did I? Nope. Bummer. So I could bring to light. They have 2 cards in their hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm actually just going to play my land, and I can hardcast Archon next turn. They also still need to, beat my board. I could also bring to light for Persist. Get back an Endurance, and then they don't have to worry about archive traps. They just don't have enough cards in their hand to win. Even if they are 3 archive traps, it's not enough. Ooh, Vindicate. I'm going to do that. White, black, colorless. So now they need 2 removal spells, or 2 blockers, or a blocker and a removal spell. I guess Snapcaster Mage does it all by itself. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, they've stabilized this board. I'm kind of impressed. I'm still making my attack, though. I want them to have to lose the Snapcaster Mage in this deal. I don't have the 3rd Endurance, unfortunately. I only play 2. Countering Drown in the Lock with Endurance is something that I am interested in doing with my life. Alright, they haven't stabilized the board. I still have Endurance. The Snapcaster's not a trade. They're still dead on board. Okay. I will endure! Okay, that was awesome. I think Cackling Counterpart copying Endurance was not something I had considered originally, but I'm extremely interested in. I think I should leave in 1 quasi-duplicate, because they seem interested most of the time in surgically extracting that, even though it's not that great. The Frilled Mystic came in clutch. I do like that. I don't think I want to bring in anything else. That was 61 cards. Do I want to go 62? I am playing against Mill. Yeah, fuck it. 62 cards. Let's play. Okay, so I can call for an Endurance, and I have 2 of the 3 lands to cast it. I'm on the draw. I'm going to keep this. Hopefully they don't mill both my Endurances before I can tutor one up. It's crab time. It's always crab time. Drew the worst card in my deck to draw. I want that one in the graveyard. Second crab, here they come. Here come the beats. Ooh, no fetch land. Only 6 mills. They didn't mill an Endurance. That's important because I very much want to be able to get one. I think I should probably just do this right now. Montgomery's Call. Godless Shrine is the colors I don't have right now. So they could Archive Trap in response to this and mill a... Okay, they didn't do it. Mill an Endurance, then extract it. That didn't happen though. So now I have the green card to pitch to in the Endurance if I need to. Alright, we got plays. Oh, jeez. 3 crabs, no problems. Aether Gust is a huge beating. I could probably just lose to that card. But they can't drown in the lock with the mana they currently have. Oh, here it comes. Just going at it here. Got a basic swamp. Mill me for 9 more. Brutal. The good news is you cannot cast Aether Gust with basic swamp. And they're surgicling my Endurance, which I will pitch to this Endurance in response. Time to evoke. I'm going to chuck the Bring to Light. Yeah, evoke is word on this card. So I actually want the evoke trigger to the bottom trigger to go on the stack first, so Endurance tucks itself. Wow. They have 1 card left in their hand. Let's try not to lose this game from here. Need to draw some lands. Okay, found a land. I do like that. I could Phantasmal Image and start milling them, but I think I'm going to do better than that if I just am patient with my cards. Alright, another mill for 9. We hit a Cackling Counterpart and a million lands. Yuck. Still think I can do better than copying a crab. Glimpse the Unthinkable. They still have not milled an Endurance. They did hit a Siege Rhino. That could be bad, but they have 1 card left in their hand. Oh, yes, alright. Don't even have to search my deck. Green, white, black. Rhino time. Alright, time to beat down. I have 32 cards in my deck. They can make me shuffle if they have an Archive Trap. It's a little bit scary. And this is another 9 cards gone. So if they have the Archive Trap, I actually just lose. Wow. That's a good reload. Missing that land drop was pretty bad. Right, here comes another 9 cards into the bin. 1, 2, 3. They did hit an Endurance, but there is still 1 in the deck. There are still 1 Persist. There's 1 Persist and 1 Endurance still in the deck. So they could just Field of Ruin, make me shuffle, and then Archive Trap me here. These crabs add up so fast. Looks like they have it. That's bad. And you can't decline. You can't fail to search. You can't decline the search. You can fail to find, but obviously I don't want to do that. Yuck. Alright, so there are 4 cards left in my deck, and one of them is Endurance. All of my Persists are gone, but 1 Endurance does remain. That wasn't it. I can beat down with Siege Rhino, and I'm dead to like any spell at all. Oh, bummer. I ended up with a 25% chance there to draw Endurance, and left them dead on board. Oh, wait. They can mill me out, and I can Cackling Counterpart as an instant to deal the last 3. We're not dead. Unless they have Surgical or Drown in the Lock. I mean, there's a lot of things they could have, but we're not literally dead. Did we do it? No, they had the Drown. Crypt Incursion? Oh. Okay. So you go to 48, and I get my Rhino, but it's not good enough. Alright. GG. Endurance was messed up. That was really nice. Didn't win the match, but endurance, proof of concept, count it. On the play in the final round. Did I go 5 for 5 on the play this league? I think I did. All right, this hand is not keepable. No ramp. Doesn't even cast the spells that I do have. No black for this. No double blue for this. Ooh, easy mulligan. This hand has the persist. I'm going to keep this, and this is our chance to do the Archon thing. I don't know. So clearly, lessons learned. We're 0-4, obviously. This is not where we wanted to be. Playing for the... I don't even know if we're playing for anything. Do you get anything for 1-4 record? I don't do it very often. But we are playing for pride at this point, and it is clear that the deck, the way I built it, it should not have a reanimation package, or at least not the like whole entomb thing. Like, I think maybe having 2 persists in the deck is fine as a way to just have more redundant rhinoceros eyes. But in general, that didn't go over too well. Okay, so we're playing against Enchantress, which is a great matchup to have Fracturing Gust on the sideboard. If I Eladamri's Call right now, it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to call on their turn. I can call for Rhino and start the draining. Kind of wish I had called for Rhino. Actually, I don't know that I could have called for Rhino in the end step. No, I don't think so. All right, and they actually do have an Enchantress, and they're doing the full Enchantress thing here. So it's time to call. Siege Rhino is, in fact, the best thing I can call for. And I'll fetch for a Underground Sea here. Or, yeah, Underground Sea. Watery Grave. The modern version of Underground Sea. That's what I want. Hitting a land drop lets me create 2 Rhinos next turn. And the Enchantress deck is largely built around me not being able to attack or deal damage to them, but draining them out with Rhinoceros triggers is on the table. I drew Noble Hierarch, which is not quite the land I wanted, but I do have another draw step to hit, and even if I miss on the land, now I can spend all my mana with Hierarch plus Quasi-Duplicate. Another Sterling Grove, sure. Oh, this gains life, doesn't it? That's going to make it really hard to drain out. But I do get to attack. And I can play Noble Hierarch before the attack to get more damage in. Look at me sequencing my magic cards correctly. In for 5. So I'm sure they won't block. They go to 12. And then I'm going to quasi-duplicate this thing. Let's go. It's time to party. Drain you. I actually have Lethal on board. Attack for 8, drain them for another 3. My opponent said, oh, lol, nice deck. So let's see if they tutor up Solitary Confinement right now to stay alive. And Sterling Grove does a lot of work in this matchup. They can basically do whatever they want. They tutored up Enchantress's Presence. So they must already have the Solitary Confinement, or they're just not worried about it somehow. Yeah, so if they go Presence, Land, Solitary Confinement, draw 2, that's pretty good. Yep, there it is. And they do get to draw 2 out of the deal. So gotta drain them out from here, because Solitary Confinement with 2 Enchantresses, I'm not beating any other way than the drain strat. And I can quasi-duplicate. I think that's going to be better than making the land drop. Jumpstart and quasi-duplicate is the play here. My opponent's having the time of their life over there. They're laughing so hard in the chat. You're at 3. Yep, multi-rhino bonus. I'm glad my opponent at the 0-4 bracket is having as much fun as I am. They would actually be dead already if this didn't gain life. But it does, so like I'm not complaining, just saying. The life points gained off of Sithis Harvest Hand are winning them this game. Alright, so they use their Sterling Grove to tutor up Blood Moon. That's pretty good. And stripped my Birds of Paradise. So I'm kind of all in on Noble Hierarch to make this game work, and they have correctly identified that I don't have black mana. The Blood Moon is kind of harsh. I thought we were having fun. I thought we were having a good game here. But I think that does shut the door. Because now even if I draw the Entomb, I can't cast it. I have to just raw dog basic swamp to even have a chance. Yeah, I think we're done here. One Rhino short. They were at 3 life after gaining at least 3 life off Sithist Harvest Stand. Alright, yeah. I've seen enough. You got me. Time to board into my Fracturing Gust and go to the party. They're probably... I wonder if they will bring in Rest in Peace based on what they saw, because they saw the Quasi-Duplicate, but they didn't see the Persist. I should probably respect Rest in Peace. They might just have it in the main deck, honestly. So Knight of Autumn, Fracturing Gust, Frilled Mystic, Vindicate. These are all cards I want. Acidic Slime, Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Enchantments is one of the things they have to select, right? Oh yeah, wow, that's messed up. I am weirdly well set up for the Enchantress matchup, all things considered. So, Progenitor, I think I have to just give up on the reanimation thing. It's the worst part of the deck by a lot, and we're playing against a deck that's likely to have Rest in Peace and can tutor for it when they want it. So I'm just not doing that. I don't think I need Endurance. Eidolon of the Rhetoric can be pretty good against Enchantress. Once they get going in the mid game, it can really slow them down. Like they go off pretty hard once they're going, but I don't think it is necessary. Like between Gearhulk and Fracturing Gust and the Bring Delights, I think I have the game that I want to play here. So Progenitor Mimic on Acidic Slime is pretty nice. Maybe I give... No, I've had a hard time getting to even 4 mana. I'm going to cut the 6-drop. So if I rebuild this deck, the Reanimator package is gone, Progenitor Mimic is gone. Probably something that plays a little better on 3 or 4 mana. This hand needs mana, but it does have Knight of Autumn, which is a really good card, and the Bring Delight, which is my best card. I'll keep. They're not able to turn 1 a Blood Moon or turn 2. Or they can turn 2, they can't turn 1. So I probably have to fetch the basic forest off this Windswept Heath. Alright, yep, that is how they turn 2 Blood Moon. Right, so I'm gonna have to get basic forest off this Windswept Heath and probably El'Domri's Call for Birds of Paradise. That's a good one. Alright, so I'm going to get the basic Call for Bird. Hopefully I'll just draw a land and I don't need to cast this bird this turn. I would really like to destroy their Sanctum Weaver before they untap with it. Failed to do that. Ugh. Alright, so they get a turn with Sanctum Weaver here, and that's gonna be really bad for me. X mana, X the number of enchantments you control, so that's 3 currently. It's likely to be more by the time it matters. Every 1-drop enchantment they play is free, every 2-drop costs 1. Sterling Grove just turns off the Knight of Autumn. Wow. Yeah, that one turn where I couldn't destroy the stupid card, and they get to go completely insane on me because of it. So now it's a race to Bring Delight. That's my way out of this game. Bring Delight or the Gust straight up. Land, please. Jeez. Alright. So maybe I need to spend a turn calling for another bird. I actually think that that's going to do more for me this game than anything else. Like, even if they tutor up the Blood Moon... No, I am still 1 short if they tutor up Blood Moon. Alright, if they tutor up Blood Moon, any basic land will cast a 5-color Bring Delight. And if they don't have Blood Moon, I can actually just blow them out. But they have 8 cards in hand. Every spell they cast is, like, basically free and also draws 2 cards. Oh, they had the Thin Ice. This was not the matchup to miss land drops in. Like, literally just hit 3rd land drop, kill this thing, then they don't get to go off as hard on turn 2, and then I get to bridge into Ring Delight. And we're still we're still not dead somehow. Like, if I assemble a Bring to Light at any point, we do get to... Jesus Christ. All right. The second on Thin Ice, probably too much. And now they can tutor for Blood Moon at will with Sterling Grove. Or just have it in their hand. That's also fine. Maybe they'll deck themselves. Go for it. Yeah, this is the power of Sanctum Weaver. This whole game hinged on missing that third land drop. Okay, so they now have 4 Enchantresses in play. None of them are optional. Like, they're going to draw 4 every time they cast a spell. They have a 1/2 creature in play. I'm going to need to see a win condition before I concede. Green Sun Zenith is banned in this format. That's how Legacy Enchantress keeps itself from decking. Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, is legal in this format, though. So that's a thing they could have. And it's a thing they can cast next turn. I drew another Siege Rhino. That's what I was looking for. Alright, my plan of them decking themselves is all in right now. They have 15 cards in their deck. They can only cast 3 spells this game. If one of them's Emrakul, we're dead. Oh, Destiny Spinner, that'll do it. That'll do it real fast. Yeah, so they have a 17/17 Forest and another 17. Okay. Alright, we're dead. That was... I mean... Looking at this final board state, this game doesn't look close, but it was. Like, I was a land drop away from stabilizing this situation, and the Bring to Light, the game ended with Bring to Light in my hand. Fracturing Gust is in the deck. Pretty close, actually. We pulled off the 0 and 5 with a deck that I admit that I built really poorly. I was getting too excited about new cards. There's no such things as halfway crooks. That's what they say. And we were trying to be a halfway crook on this reanimation plan. Just wiggle this cute little reanimation package into a deck that was trying to do something completely different. And that's just not the way to do that. Commit yourself to... I think what I would do is... I will post the updated list when you all finally see it. In the video description, the link will have my updated list. But I'm going to cut... basically the reanimation package and the progenitor mimic, probably bring back a third Bring to Light, and then put some normal magic cards in the deck, like Abrupt Decay and Path to Exile, and just give ourselves a chance to actually play a game. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you, Justin, for submitting the deck. I don't mind going 0-5. Lessons were learned. This was a fun deck building experiment. I hope you all got something out of it. And we did have some dynamic, exciting games, even though we ended up losing all of them. So thank you, Justin, again, for asking me to play this. Thank you, SaffronOlive and MTG Goldfish, for the original idea. Again, if you want to see Seth's versions of the deck, check out the links. And thank you all for watching. If you have thoughts how to fix this, put them in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe while you're here, and I'll see you next time.